Hello and welcome back, my friends. I'm out in the garden right now getting ready to plant some potatoes, and I actually picked all these different varieties of potatoes up at my local Whole Foods. This is a great way to get growing, especially in these times. A lot of folks are still able to head out to the store and pick up some groceries. Well, get yourself some extra potatoes and get them in the ground. You'll be happy you did a few months from now. These varieties were ones that I don't typically see at my Whole Foods. They're all fingerling. We got a red, a yellow, and a purple. This one doesn't have a name on it. This one here is the organic Russian banana, and this one, organic purple Fiesta fingerling. And you can see how badly these want to grow. So yeah, 2 months ago I picked these up. I threw them in a paper sack and put them in the garage, forgot about them. And it would have been a good idea, I guess, to take the netting off, because they've all grown right through the netting now, and I'm going to have to remove that. But truth be told, I've never actually bought seedling potatoes. I just always plant whatever we have extra coming from the kitchen. Once they start to sprout, I'll usually just throw them into the ground. We got patches of potatoes all throughout our backyard food forest. So just want to throw this idea out for you folks. When you head out to the store, maybe you want to pick up a few extra potatoes and get those in the ground. You okay there, Rocket? Rocket enjoying a bit of grass, getting some minerals right now. That's good. Anyway, I'm going to cut these bags back, see if we can get the potatoes out without damaging the sprouts. This one is the easiest. If I do have to end up burying some of this netting, that'll be fine. I can just remove it later. Yeah, these ones are coming out nicely. And you can just throw those potatoes right in the ground even without sprouts and they'll get going. But if you do have a potato that is sprouting like this, you could cut it into a couple different pieces where you have a sprout and get several different plants going. When we get these in the ground, we're going to be planting them about 12 inches or a foot apart. And so if you really want to grow a lot of potatoes and you've got a big area, a big space, then you might want to do that. For myself, I just want to get these in the ground just quickly and have another patch growing of a new variety. But it really doesn't matter. You know, I've got another sack of potatoes here. These were just some organic yellow potatoes. See the sprouting happening here. This one's it's still okay. It's getting a bit wet. We got a few yellow potatoes that'll go into the ground. Other than potatoes, a few other store-bought items that you can get planted in your yard right away would be things like garlic. Store-bought garlic has done very well for us here on the property, and although it's not really garlic planting season, there's really no wrong time to get garlic in the ground. It will grow and sprout, and if you leave them in the ground and they die back, they're going to come back next year, and you can actually dig them up, separate out the different cloves, and actually increase your patch size. Also, we've got a bunch of leeks that are growing around the garden, and I utilize the leek and I just take the butt end where the roots are growing from and replant that. Turmeric and ginger, depending on where you're located, you can have some success with that. These purple potatoes here are really what I'm most excited about. These sprouts are so healthy. And purple potatoes are not that easy to come by in the store, and I always prefer to grow things that aren't as easy to buy or very expensive to purchase. So I'm going to continue to remove these from these net bags, and then I'll be back with you in a moment and we'll get them in the ground and we'll continue our little chat. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. hope you were able to get out into your garden today and get at least one thing done, or at least one thing planted. It's a good goal, I find. Get one thing done in the garden every day, weather permitting. Not only is it going to give you a lot of food in the future and save you a bunch of money, but it's also going to give you time to reflect and think and just kind of peace out from everything that's going on in the world. That's important, you know. Connect with nature. Put it this way. You'll never regret time spent in the garden, even if it's pulling weeds. I especially love fingerlings for throwing in my Instant Pot and making soups and stews. And I love using the russet potatoes for making homemade fries and that sort of thing. Another little side tip for you: every year, whenever I plant, I get a Ziploc bag and I throw all the seed packs, plant tags, what have you in there. That way I know exactly what I'm growing, the variety, and if I'm saving any seed stock or doing any type of bartering or anything in the future, I'll know exactly what I have to offer. So growing potatoes is extremely easy, really hard to mess up. All you need to do is dig yourself a trench. You want to do your rows about 3 feet apart if you can, and stick your potatoes in about 12 inches apart from each other, and cover it with soil, at least 3 inches of soil. Let it begin to grow. Once you got some green growth coming up, a few inches tall, you can start to mound up around those greens, and they'll continue to sprout and grow new potatoes in those mounds. So you just continue to mound up around the green part. Now, I'm not a professional potato grower. What I am is a guy who just establishes patches of things all around in my yard. So the way you see me do it, there's probably a better way to do it. But really, if I find a little space, a little area where I want some potatoes to grow, I just scoop back some of the mulch, dig a simple trench, and throw my potatoes in. Hardly ever do I add in any amendments or added soil. It's just about getting them in the ground for me. And so that's what you're going to see today. But I'm sure there's other videos online you can watch on growing potatoes that are going to give you some more information as far as how to be more successful in that. Here's some of those leeks that I was telling you about that I planted that are growing back nice and strong. And like I said, I've got these growing all over the place. Over here we've got some celery that I planted from, again, store-bought. Just saved the butt of the celery, put it in the ground. I've got those everywhere. Here's some echinacea, medicinal flower, great for beneficial insects, coming back as a perennial. And we've just got some mulch and stuff on the ground. But over here on the edge of the hugelkultur, this would be a good area to plant some potatoes. The soil here is slightly mounded right at the edge of the hugel. And this is some good soil. If you can get more of a humus profile in your soil, some nice fluffy soil versus clay or really dense soil, you're going to have better success for sure with the potatoes. So I think I'm going to choose this as one area to plant a patch. Do some purple potatoes here right on the edge of the hugel mound. Let's get that mulch out of here. Sorry about that, guys. My camera died while I was planting these potatoes. All I did was I just dug a little trench with my shovel and threw the potatoes in. And as you can see, I didn't even stick to my own advice and keep the potatoes 12 inches apart. You could argue I could make a couple patches of potatoes with what I have here, but I'm not too concerned about that. I just want a nice, stable patch, so I just kind of scattered them in the trench there. Now I'm getting ready to backfill. I'm not breaking up the soil very much because so many worms in the soil here. As long as it's covered with dirt, they're going to sprout through, trust me. We'll put a little mulch on there too. And that's it, guys. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. Again, you could take more care and do this in a more appropriate way, but this way you're going to get potatoes. So this is the way I'm going to do it. I've got some more potatoes to plant. Just wanted to make this video to hopefully give you a little bit of information that might help you out to get growing more food. Now's the time to get out into the garden and grow as much as you can. You're going to be happy you did, that's for sure, as time progresses and the months go on. To be able to head out into your yard and to harvest edible flowers, potatoes, fruits, tomatoes, it's all good, right? So with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have yourself a great rest of the day. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.